Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. At this moment, I would like to present a case report with the title Post-sick sinus syndrome and recurrent hypoalbuminemia in alcoholic cardiomyopathy. Okay, so this is the outline, introduction, case report, discussion, and conclusion. As we know, prevalence dilated cardiomyopathy in alcoholics about 0.43% in women and 0.25% in men, and prevalence dilated cardiomyopathy in general about 0.03% until 0.05%. And we know alcoholic cardiomyopathy is alcoholic toxicity to the heart muscle itself by ethanol and its metabolites. Congestive heart failure is produced due to alcoholic cardiomyopathy, is a condition in which there is a structural abnormality or function of the heart which can cause the heart to fail to pump blood throughout the body. So the heart will try harder to pump to deliver oxygen to meet the metabolic needs of body tissues. A 25-year-old male, a fisherman, and a diver too, came to our hospital with chief complaint swollen neck since 4 months before admission. He also felt shortness of breath and a little bit cough. He's been alcoholism for the last 10 years, about 2 until 3 bottles per day. But he doesn't have hypertension nor diabetes, but he smokes. And about in 2016, he felt for the first time swollen necks, and in 2018, he has diagnosed sick sinus syndrome, and then he underwent PPM implantation or permanent pacemaker implantation. When he came to our hospital, his blood pressure is normal, pulse rate is within normal limit, and temperature is also normal, and BMI obesity. And from the head anemic, and then increased jugular venous pressure, and then we got distended abdomen, undulation test positive, shifting dullness also positive, and pitting edema upper and lower extremities. Okay, laboratory results, hemoglobin 8.6, and then leukocyte a little bit high, 12,000, and then thrombocyte 394,000, and then creatinine serum is within normal limit, but albumin is very low, about 1.6 milligram per deciliter. And then fasting blood glucose is normal, but natrium is very low, hyponatremia. CRP is high, ANA profile negative, and CKMB is high. From electrocardiogram showed in 2016, this patient had total FV block, and then in 2018, the patient had implanted permanent pacemaker, and in 2020, atrial fibrillation with moderate ventricular response, anterior extensive old myocardial infarction. Chest X-ray showed cardiomegaly with bilateral pleural effusion, and USG ultrasonogram abdomen showed congestive hepatopathy and moderate acid test. Echocardiogram showed dilated cardiomyopathy and reduced LV function, systolic LV function with ejection fraction about 19%, and we got LV thrombus and moderate pericardial effusion. So we diagnosed this patient with congestive heart failure, New York Heart Association class 4. It causes alcoholic cardiomyopathy, and then LV thrombus, pericardial effusion, and bilateral pleural effusion also. And post-sick sinus syndrome, post-permanent pacemaker, severe hypoalbuminemia, severe hyponatremia, and ascites spermacnate. So we treat the patient with furosemide, albumin injection, spironolactone, warfarin for anticoagulation, ramipril for anti-remodeling, ceftriaxone for antibiotic, and acetylcysteine also for the cough, and then PRC transfusion, thoracosynthesis because of pleural effusion, and then paracentesis due to ascites spermacina. So in this case, from the symptoms, we got typical congested heart failure, shortness of breath, tired quickly, swelling in the ankles, and then palpitation. Yeah, so I think from the symptoms and the sign, we diagnose this patient with heart failure. And what is the general risk of heart failure in this patient? We know many causes of heart failure, but in this case, yeah, alcohol is the most common, the most cause of this patient because the patient had history of smoking and drinking alcohol more than 10 years. So I will explain about the roadmap of this patient. We know this patient is alcoholism more than 10 years. And as we know, alcohol will decrease myocardial contractility and then will increase enlargement left ventricle and induce LV thrombus. And then LV enlargement make dilated cardiomyopathy, and for a long time, it will induce apoptosis and then impaired pacemaker function and induce sick sinus syndrome. Dilated cardiomyopathy, for a long time, if we don't treat it properly, it will induce congestive heart failure. And then we know congestive heart failure, we see systolic and diastolic dysfunction, and it will decrease cardiac output, increase renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system, and then it will make ventricular remodeling and then increase inflammatory response, yeah, and it will increase sepsis or infection in another organ, and then it will increase congestive or volume overload, so it will induce edema in extremities and also induce hyponatremia. And as we know, alcoholism will increase catabolism protein, so it will induce hypoalbumin, and then it will induce bilateral pleural effusion, ascites spermacina, and moderate pericardial effusion. So this is the conclusion. Sick sinus syndrome is relatively infrequent in the setting of alcoholic cardiomyopathy. Understanding precipitating factors of heart failure and identifying the risk of life-threatening arrhythmia is very important. And drug compliance and adherence to treatment is also most important. So we can treat the patient, yeah, as underlying or precipitating factor, and we have to give advice to the patient to reduce fluid intake also. Thank you. Thank you very much.